Greetings from the underworld. Realtor David Brown is currently unavailable. He requested that I join you in his stead. He also requested that I read you a ghost story. So I shall. This is the story of the witch on the Colts' neck. This story was told by an old doctor who used to live a hermit's life in a small New England village. It happened when he was a young boy, but he told it and retold it in exactly the same way until his death. To him, it was frighteningly true. When the doctor was a young man of 15, his father had a bay colt which he permitted the young boy to ride. One evening, the young man left his home and started riding to another town a few miles away. On the way, he had to pass a cottage where a woman by the name of Dolly Spokesfield lived. She was rumored to have unusual powers, skill in the black arts, and the ability to turn herself into almost anything she wished. It was whispered she was a genuine witch of the inner circle. Certainly a person to be avoided by young boys out alone at night. As the lad approached Dolly Spokesfield's cottage, he kept to the middle of the road and nervously urged the colt to a faster trot. But his precautions were in vain. As the colt and rider came abreast of the cottage, a coal-black cat suddenly leaped out of the darkness and landed on the colt's neck. The frightened horse stopped short, almost throwing the boy over his head. The boy tried desperately to get rid of the cat and urged his mount on, beating him with his whip, but the cat held on, and the colt refused to move with the black cat hissing upon his neck. The boy was afraid to leave his horse and run. In his panic, he dismounted and began to beat the cat with the whip, holding the colt by the bridle rein as he reared and plunged, trying to dislodge the cat. The boy finally did manage to dislodge the cat, and he hurriedly rode home. The poor colt was so bruised and clawed by the cat, and apparently exhausted by his ordeal. So injured and frightened was he that the boy was afraid the animal would die before morning. He turned him loose in the barn, instead of putting him into a stall, and went to bed trembling, and fearful that the colt would not last the night. At the first crack of dawn, the boy arose and hurried to the barn to inspect the battered and clawed animal. To his amazement, the young horse was in perfect condition. He showed no signs of exhaustion. Nowhere on the body could the boy find a trace of bruises from the whip, a claw mark, or a single reminder of the frantic events the previous night. However, the story has an even stranger ending. A neighbor soon stopped by to report that Dolly Spokesfield had just been found almost dead, her body bruised and beaten as though by a whip, and under two of her fingernails were some short, black bay hairs, such as you would find perhaps on the neck of a young colt ridden by a young man, frightened, alone, at night. That is the end. Pleasant dreams, my friends. David Brown will be with us for our next installment. If you'd like to call him, feel free to call him at the number below, and he will return your call. Or not.